Objection number 6 to Bitcoin is that it's intangible. It's not tangible. I can't touch it. I can't feel it. Well, guess what? The most powerful inventions sometimes are so paradigm shifting that they leave the old paradigm behind. So, for example, in the old days, we had messenger pigeons, whatever they were called. Messenger pigeons, right? You tie the little message on the little legs of the pigeon, you let the pigeon go, and it's a messenger pigeon. I think that's the name for them. There feels like there's a better name. Anyway, I think it's a messenger pigeon. Anyway, so you let him go. And can you touch and feel a messenger pigeon? Yes, you can. So along comes somebody and they're like, but there's this new thing called electricity. We can run a really long wire across the ocean. We can use like Morse code, like beeps and, dots and dashes and all this sort of stuff. And you're like, no. The tried and true messenger pigeon. That's what I want to do. Carrier pigeons. I guess they were carrier pigeons because they could carry more than just messages. Carrier pigeons. Anyway, you're like, no, I'm stuck on my carrier pigeons because I can touch them, I can feel them, I can look that carrier pigeon in the eye. Electricity, I can't look it in the eye, I can't touch it. If I touch it, it shocks me. And I can't feel it. So I'm just not going to trust this whole electronic thing to transmit messages. We're going to put like cell phone towers up in the sky and I can't touch it, I can't feel it. That is a benefit of electricity and electromagnetic signals, is that you can't touch them and you can't feel them. Because a carrier pigeon, you can touch it and you can feel it, but it's very limiting. You can't immediately transmit at the speed of light information anywhere in the world with a carrier pigeon. Plus they die, they get eaten by hawks, there's all sorts of issues. So same with a cell phone. You cannot touch and feel the signal of a cell phone. Now, if you have an old landline with one of those spiral, like pigtail cords on it, you can touch and feel it. So I can hear people in my mind saying, yeah, I just don't trust this whole cell phone thing because I can't touch it and I can't feel it. It's not tangible. The signal is not tangible. On my old phone, I can see this little scrunchy cord that goes in and out, and I can touch it and I can feel it. I can wrap it around my finger as I talk on the phone, just to keep my hands busy. I can touch and feel that. It's like, yeah, but you're tethered. You're tethered in that way. You can't move around. With a cell phone, in exchange for giving up the fact that the signal and the cord and all that is not tangible and you can't feel it, you can go anywhere in the world and talk on a cell phone as long as you're within satellite range or cell tower range. So the fact that Bitcoin is not tangible means you can send it anywhere in the world at the speed of light 24/7 and nobody can stop you. That is very powerful. That is just like the power of electromagnetic waves with radio waves communicating information, or cell phone towers or cell phones or ham radios. All of those things use radio waves. They use things you can't touch and you can't feel. And electricity uses something you can't touch and you can't feel. But there's way more power in that. If you could touch and feel Bitcoin like you can with US dollar cash or like you can with gold, where you can hold it in your hand, you can drop it on your toe. I hear people say this, at least with gold, I can drop it on my toe. I know it's real. Well, good luck slinging that thing over to Asia if you need to move your money over to, Taiwan or Hong Kong or, I don't know, Singapore. You want to send your wealth to Singapore? You can't take it with you if it's tangible. Because if it's tangible, that means you have to go through an airport metal detector. And if you go through an airport metal detector and you have to get out of a hostile country, they're going to take all your gold. They're going to take all your coins, your gold, your silver, your, bricks of gold. Look, people have tried to smuggle gold and silver through metal detectors in airport by hiding it in orifices of their body. Guess what? It still sets off the alarm, and they make them go and, push it out, whatever you want to call it. Like, they take it out of their innards, and they say, the gold is ours now. We're going to wash it off. We're going to sanitize it. It's not yours anymore. That is not the case with Bitcoin. Bitcoin, if you want to, this is not recommended, do not do this, but if you are in a hostile country, you can store your Bitcoin literally with 12 words in your head. You can memorize a 12-word sequence and store the Bitcoin there. Now, I'm not going to tell you exactly how to do that. You should not do that because if you mess it up, you're going to lose it. That is only like for dire situations. But if you're in a dire situation where you need to move wealth around the world or you need to keep wealth with you in a hostile environment, you can memorize 12 words in your head and have the Bitcoin that way. It is a benefit that Bitcoin is not tangible. You can't see it, you can't touch it. If you can see it and touch it, someone else can see it and touch it and take it from you. If you can feel it, they can feel it. And the benefit of something that's not tangible is you can send it anywhere in the world, anywhere in the universe, 24/7 at the speed of light. Nobody can stop you. And you can even store it in your head by memorizing a sequence of 12 words if you want to do that. So Bitcoin is infinitely more versatile than US dollar cash or than gold or in silver because it is not tangible. But it can store value in a way that nobody can mess with it. Nobody can touch it, nobody can feel it, nobody can push it, nobody can pull it, and nobody can take it from you. And all of those attributes are only possible because it is not tangible in the way people think about. Now, sometimes when people describe it as intangible, they say it's not real money. What is real money? Does the money have to be issued by a government to be real? For thousands of years, gold and silver were real. They're not issued by a government. The government never figured out how to make gold and silver out of thin air, which means they could take it from you and then they could give it back to you or to government officials and stuff like that. But gold and silver are tangible, but they were not issued by governments. So money does not have to be issued by a government to be real. It does not. The vast majority of US dollars are not physical. Only a tiny percentage of all of the US dollars in the world exist in the form of US dollar bills, $1, $100, $50, $20, whatever, or in the form of coins, like a quarter, a dime, a nickel, penny, etc. A very small percentage of the US dollars in the world exist in that form. The vast majority of the entire amount of US dollars in circulation in the world exist only virtually. They exist only as numbers on a spreadsheet or a database. In fact, most of that is run by an Oracle database at the Federal Reserve that keeps track of numbers on a spreadsheet. That's it. So the vast majority of the dollars you use in any currency are already virtual. They are already not tangible. Now, the government lets you turn them into a piece of paper if you go to an ATM or if you go to your bank and withdraw, but only a microscopically tiny percent of people can actually do that at the same time. Because all the bank vaults in the world only own in physical form a tiny percent of all the money in circulation in US dollars. So the vast majority of US dollars you already use are already not tangible. And so what? You can turn them into a tangible form, at the edges. Well, that also means you lose the power to send them over the internet to anyone anywhere in the world. And it also means because they're government controlled, which is why the government can give you a physical form of it, it means the government can make an unlimited amount of them out of thin air. They can print $100 bills. The US dollar has not been backed by gold since 1971. It's backed by nothing. It's backed by the full faith and credit of a country that is $39 trillion in debt. So let's assume you got, some random friend who's not 39 trillion or even 39 billion, but just $39 million in debt. And he's like, but I got you, bro. It's the full faith and credit of me. And you're like, but dude, you're $39 million in debt. Like, what kind of an idiot do you think I am to use your money when you're drowning in that much debt? Like, full faith and credit? Come on. What planet are we on? So money does not have to be physical in order to be real. When people say it's not real money, you got to dig into what is the definition of real money. Real money is something with good monetary properties. In the old days, the best monetary properties were gold and silver. Because of the usability of paper money, the best money for usability became paper money in the form of US dollars or euros or yen or won or whatever. But now we have a better alternative. We have something that has the scarcity and monetary properties of gold combined with the portability and the visibility of paper dollars, except that the government can't print them out of nowhere and debase the currency and inflate it into oblivion. So, all that to say, if somebody says Bitcoin's not tangible, can't touch it, can't feel it, that means it cannot be stolen from you by the touchy, feely, greedy hands of someone else, and it means you can teleport it 24/7 anywhere in the world in seconds. I can send an unlimited amount of money, however much I have, anywhere in the world in seconds, and absolutely nobody in the world can stop me. And that is something you can only do with Bitcoin. You cannot do that with gold, silver, or with US dollars. If the banks are closed, you can't wire money. And even if you can wire money at the bank, you can only wire it to a place that's approved. If your bank doesn't approve the destination, they won't do the wire. If the recipient bank doesn't approve the recipient, they won't do the wire. If the U.S. government cuts you off, they block all your ability to send wire transfers. That never happens with Bitcoin. Nobody can block Bitcoin. Nobody can censor it. Nobody can force you to, can take it from you except by physical force or by coercion or torture if they want to torture 12 words out of your head. So a lot of power, a lot of versatility that only comes with a currency like Bitcoin. That is why Bitcoin is the future. And that is why slowly, little by little, the Bitcoin is being adopted as the world's money worldwide. And importantly, it's not the world's money that's controlled by elites or some world government. It's the world government, or it's the world money that is only controlled by you, which is a beautiful, beautiful and powerful thing.